In this video, I want to answer the question, what is a professional job recruiter, or what is a job recruiter? Okay, so basically in business, many businesses outsource that part of their HR function. That is, they no longer actively recruit internally. Or have their HR department or someone within their organization to actively recruit employees. Instead of necessarily publicly listing the position and going out there and searching for individuals, they may list the job publicly just to accept applications for those who become aware of it, but they don't actively market it that way themselves. Instead, they hire a third-party outside recruiter. Okay, now sometimes recruiters are on contract, and they are indeed either independent contractors who solely work for that company, or they are employees for the company and they undertake the same function. But most job recruiters are independent of the company. They're independent contractors. They're contracted with the company, either through an exclusive or non-exclusive listing agreement, kind of the same way a real estate agent would, right? And the job of the recruiter is to find candidates who are a good potential fit for the position and to recommend those candidates to the company for interview and potentially ultimately hiring. Now, there are a number of reasons why it's beneficial to use recruiters, and there are a few detriments, but it's useful to at least know how they work, how they're compensated, things like that. So that being said, let's start by how do they search? Well, most recruiters, some 95 or greater percent, use primarily LinkedIn, and about 90%, right, use exclusively LinkedIn. It is that useful of a tool because LinkedIn, once again, stands alone as the primary professional, if you will, social media profile or platform. So that being said, recruiters search primarily through there, identify candidates, but recruiters will also do things like list jobs on Indeed, Simply Hired, Monster, things like that. So it's worth knowing that many of these job listings for a company that you see may not be applying directly to the company. Instead, they're applying to a recruiter who is searching for the company. But also, recruiters simply use passive search. They simply search for individuals. So there's an active side, and passive side. Passive side, they post a listing, wait for job applicants to come in, and then they review, use sorting technology and things like that to identify individuals who have the keywords on their profile and things like that who would be qualified for the position. And they'll actively search. Like I say, they search profiles, things like that, reach out to people, do fishing, I'd say, as you call it, for individuals who might be qualified for the position type thing. And then they get a collective pool of individuals down. They narrow them down through email conversations, and then telephone screening interviews and things like that. And ultimately, when they find a group who is a group of good candidates for the position, they'll actually coach and help the person get ready for the interview and things like that, because the recruiter has a vested interest in you doing well in the interview or being a good potential candidate, simply because, once again, it looks good on them. One, if you get hired, that's how they get compensated, so they want you to be a really good candidate for hire. But also, it's a signaling function to the employer that they are doing their job, they are finding good candidates, that type of thing. So really, that's the way they work and function. And you should watch our separate videos on using LinkedIn to attract recruiters, okay? Because like I say, if LinkedIn is the primary method that they use, there's so much you can do on LinkedIn to show up high in their search results and potentially be in that small pool of candidates for positions, okay? So there's that. So recruiters work for the company. They're searching for you, but once again, they have a vested interest in you. So they work diligently to prepare you for the interview process, or to be a good candidate in that way. Okay, they're compensated generally at somewhere between 15 and 25% of your first year salary. Now, they don't get your salary, right? It's just their metric for compensation is based upon the first year salary that you receive. Okay, so there you go. It's like a commission for finding you. Okay, so that being said, there are a number of pros to this system. One, companies can not spend the money on having an HR department or the time and resources in their HR department to undertake this task, right? You've got specialized individuals who are well versed and do just that, who are able to find candidates and things like that. It doesn't detract it away from company operations, things like that. They generally get a good pool of candidates. Tons of benefits in that regard. Downside is it's kind of an additional expense for the employee. There's no guarantee that you're going to get great employees, that you're going to get a great pool of applicants there. And it certainly, if you have referrals or internal hires or something like that who would be great for the position, using an outside recruiter, they may not have as great access to them or knowledge about them and things like that. So that being said, there are some upsides and downsides, but there's one thing for certain: the professional recruiter is coming to dominate the industry in terms of searching for employees for large companies. Not so much for mid-sized and small companies, but certainly for your Fortune 1000 companies. They play an extremely important role in understanding how they work, what they do, and the role that they play. Very important for you in your career search.